Welcome to a live vetting hosted by the Vetter ecosystem. Here at Vetter, we've combined artificial intelligence, AI, with crowdsourced intelligence, CI, to support you in finding your next 2x to 100x gem. Now, our CrowdX calendar has hundreds of crypto pre-sales that have been sourced by our very own community. Now, scouts do the legwork of sifting and sorting through crypto pre-sales, and then we'll add them to the calendar. The scouts provide basic information, like this basic information here, like when the project is launching. We can find out information about the website, the Telegram, soft cap, hard cap, things like that. And then a Vetter comes along and does a deep dive on the project, providing info about the team, Telegram, AMAs, and things like that. Now, this process saves you time and energy since a majority of the research has already been done for you. Now, we host 2 calls per week, supporting users and maximizing the platform and finding these crypto gems. Now, in today's community vetting, we're covering Vault Finance, which was scouted by PSC 100X and vetted by CryptoGal, who are 2 absolute rock stars in our community. And I also had the opportunity to add in my 2 cents when I vetted this project as well a few months back. So let's go ahead and take a look at what is Vault Finance. Okay. Vault Finance, home of the first BUSD rewards token that doesn't sell its own to provide you rewards. Our vision is to become the market leader in the reflection tokenomics space by developing our next generation Celis smart contract on the BSC mainnet. We'll be deploying the next gen Celis smart contract that doesn't require the selling of our native tokens to generate the BUSD rewards or to fund the buyback, marketing and development wallets. This is the first contract of its kind, making it truly unique. We'll be 100% Celis, not merely less cells. We believe that this contract will commence a new era in the reflection tokenomics space by setting the new standard. Let's scroll down to the team here. And let's introduce Chris. Chris Esparza, one part doctor, one part crypto hawk, one part cowboy, representing Dallas, Texas. Started dabbling in the space a few years back, and it appealed to his entrepreneurial and business mentality. He was hooked. He's always been involved with investments and startups. He loves to golf, travel, socializing, and loves a good scotch. I'm excited and very bullish about what this project is going to become. So with that, hey, Chris, welcome to the session today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. One of the things, Chris, I got to say, I'm a sucker for a team that's willing to have a clear-cut bio, but also has some fun in the bio. And the first moment I read the bio, I was really excited about your project because I just felt there's this level of authenticity, but it really sucked me in. So kudos to you guys for putting some energy into these bios. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We, we're transparent people, and we like to present ourselves exactly as who we are.
Right, that's awesome. So, just out of curiosity, what made you guys decide to start this project?
Yeah, well, I brought together the team. I felt like we've all been mods in different areas. We were investors. We're on the other side of it as well too as investors. And it just came to a point where I saw a need. There's, in this space, it's so difficult to find great projects, great investments, ones that can be long-term ones. And, it seems like there's rug pulls left and right. And I felt like there needed to be a new standard, a gold standard to help investors raise the bar and kind of put projects, feet to the fire and make them be transparent. They needed to have the professionalism, and they needed to bring real value to the table. So that's kind of been our core belief system from the day I scratched this up on paper and brought on Ross and Mason.
Yeah, no, that is fantastic. Two things you had mentioned, transparency and also raising the bar. Like I said, I mean, this is the crypto space is the wild, wild west. And there's a lot of shenanigans going on. And it is always refreshing to find a project and team that wants to actually create something in the space. Instead of being a copycat and doing what everybody else is doing, but to go out there, go out on a limb, try something different, truly innovate something. That doesn't happen every day. So at what point did you guys say, you know what, let's do something way different? I mean, you obviously you had the idea, or I guess you saw the need for the Celis contract. How did that come about?
Well, I've been a businessman my whole life. I owned my first business at 13, mowing lawns. And one thing that I found in all the different businesses I've owned, and as a healthcare professional and everything, is that you need to really have the answer to a need. And if there's a problem, you show up to the market with a fix.
Right.
And that's something that we really saw happen with these contract cells, and it's a big issue. And because this area is so littered with people who cut and paste, from a generic template, everybody inherently has that problem.
No kidding. All the copycats copying the chaos, huh?
Exactly. So what ended up happening is we were actually trying to solve another problem, which was tokenomics being able to be accepted onto centralized exchanges, being able to get tokenomics to work with them with, generally the path that things go is usually the path of least resistance. So we wanted to make something that fixed that problem, because projects were in our neighborhood are reaching the point where they want to land on exchanges, and they want that volume, and they want to be out there, but they need the tokenomics to follow along. And in solving that problem, we actually found the mechanism to do this Celis contract and how we're rolling this out. So it was kind of two bright ideas at once, two Einstein moments. And so we wanted to come to market with the Celis contract, and then people will see, what else we pull out of the bag of tricks.
Oh, no, that is fantastic. So can you think back to the time where you kind of cracked the code? You had this, like you said, this Einstein aha moment of you cracked the code on a major problem in the space, with the contract selling. Think back to that moment, and what was going through your mind when you guys stumbled across this and found a solution?
Well, we thought, no way. And really, when we first thought of it, it was a theory. I'm a process oriented kind of guy. I'm not a developer myself. I'm a doctor by trade. So,
yes.
But I love finance, and when it just came down to it, when that moment hit, it was kind of it's one of those things where you come up with an idea that's very creative, but you're like, I don't know if it can actually be done in reality.
Right.
So we took it to our, we put together this great dev team. It's actually two teams that are working in tandem, and we brought it to them. And the real shocker moment was when I told them, and watching them over the Zoom call, their faces, their jaws, and they had the aha moment, and they're like, okay, we're very interested. This is very interesting. And, they were stumbling over their words. And, when you excite a developer, you did something right.
Right. You definitely got their attention, huh?
Exactly.
That's great. So now your dev team, is that in-house, or is that a team you just work with?
They're a team we work with, but we have brought them onto the team. They do have a stake on our team and in this project. And I felt that was really important, because I wanted them to have buy-in into the project. I didn't want them to show up, build something, and leave. I wanted to develop a long-term relationship, because we knew we found the right guys to build the things that we want to do with this business. And so it's actually two dev teams. One's out of London, one's out of Houston, Texas. And they're phenomenal, and they take our great ideas and they tell us the ones that can't work, and they tell us the ones that can, and we spitball a lot of think tank sessions.
That's great. No, I think that's fantastic. And I think this is also where your prior experience and the experience of your team have being successful in other avenues. You recognize the idea of buy-in with the team. not just hiring someone to do a job, but like them being enrolled into the vision and being a part of it, because like that's a different kind of vibe than just someone completing a task for you.
Exactly. It's a employee versus a, invested mentality. And
Right.
all the way from the very top position where I sit all the way to our mods and our investors, everybody, there is that sense of camaraderie and everybody and excitement because they know that the team has buy-in and we're passionate about what we're doing in this business and the way we're going about it. And it's one of those things that, you exude it and the next person picks that up and sees that too. So it's been a really fun ride up to this point, and we're excited for launch.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I've seen a lot of teams that, the space is so cool because anybody can kind of get in it. But the teams that separate themselves, they've had success on some level somewhere else. And I feel like those experiences and that perspective really, really provides an edge in this space. I mean, name another industry where like some knucklehead, teen can come in here and make a significant amount of money and think he's a genius, and then try to launch something that fails because he just lacks the experience that your team provides and the other teams provide. And I think it's just such a huge asset that's, like I said, that makes such a big difference with how teams are formed and the success both on the short term and the long term for their projects.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I don't think people in general realize that, they're like, oh, crypto, everyone can do it. But I don't realize exactly that it takes a multidisciplinary team. There's a lot of disciplines that goes into crypto. There's finance, there's, you have the community, the social, the management, all of these different aspects that currency that play into it. All at the same time, that you can be the best developer in the world. You can make the most awesome thing ever, but if you don't have an idea how to market it, it goes nowhere in this space. It falls out of your hands and dies at your feet. And so it takes a real multidisciplinary approach. Every man has to bring bring something to the table. And I'm really fortunate. I'm really grateful to have the guys that I have working with me, and we make sure that we posture ourselves that the partnerships we form, the people we do business with, not only share in the same character that we have in transparency and just that level, but also that they bring something to the table that can add to us as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. The vision, just hearing you speak and what you're talking about, this is much bigger than just a launch. There's a vision behind this. There's a purpose behind this. You're solving a need. And I mean, that's such a big deal. And it's so refreshing, again, to see quality projects with great teams that are innovating and actually doing things in the space. Now, I'm looking at the website right now, and now you're going to have, how many total utilities are you going to have, and how many utilities will you actually have going at launch?
Yeah, and it depends, what you constitute as a utility. But ultimately, what we laid out, we're using it in the loose terms. But you see a lot of projects that show up day one with nothing in their hands but hype.
Yes.
But we don't believe in that. Being a business guy, like I said, we believe on you show up day one with a way to produce revenue. Right? That's what any other business has to do. You don't go to Walmart and they go, hey, well, we open the store, but 2 months later, we're going to start getting groceries in here.
Right.
You have to be able to do it day one. So what you'll see with us day one is that we're going to have first a public-private website. And the website you're looking at right now is actually our placeholder website. It's not even our final website.
Yeah.
So this is just kind of holding the place for that while we build out that, finish up that side. But that public-private website is one. It's a real interesting type of thing. Our rewards dashboard, this is a tokenomics project with rewards. So we thought it would be important that if you're going to give rewards day one, you should be able to see what those rewards are, right?
That's cool.
That only makes it. And then a digital wallet as well as staking will be available. It's something that we want to in-house, but we didn't want to have too many variables running around at once. So we're actually going to work with our good partners at BrewLabs, Certec audited group of guys that will handle that staking for us. And then the big one is the brand Novation, which is going to be our Celis exchange and launchpad. So
nice.
We will actually launch off our launchpad, list on our exchange first, be 100% Celis. So I always tell people that we're building a bridge to a new world, and we're going to be the first to walk across it to show people.
That's awesome.
So we're really excited about it.
No, that's fantastic. Now, for the BUSD rewards, where will that come from? Will that come from taxes? Will that come from part of the revenue coming in?
The rewards themselves will come from the taxes. There's a percentage of that comes from the tax. There's also something that we have called Unlock the Vault, which is an added piece of rewards. We kind of have a token burn party / distribution that comes from that wallet to the holders, as well as there's a couple things on there like a Diamond Hands Heist, which will be a token airdrop to people that hold and don't sell one token. You'll see through reading through our white paper and looking through our website that essentially, if you are an investor that is a long-term holder, you're going to get a ton of value from our project.
Yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. So with one of the things that I was seeing in our research from the team, they were saying that the only place to be able to purchase the token will be on the website. Is that correct?
And that is true. That is true. We're going to list on our exchange first. So you won't see us on PancakeSwap or something like that. It will be off of Novation.
Okay, perfect. And then, so I guess with that, for future buyers, is there a plan in place to onboard and educate that process of bringing someone on board who's maybe never done that before?
Exactly. There is, like I said before, the most adoptable path is the path of least resistance, and we know there's a lot of veterans out there, crypto veterans, but there's also a lot of crypto curious people out there, and ultimately, case in point is like my parents. So they heard about crypto, but they'd like to get into it, but they know absolutely they don't know anything about it at all, and so.
Right.
They're going to be a little interesting case study for me to be able to show and bounce that off of so they can see how they navigate it. But essentially what was important to me is because people are so familiar with PancakeSwap, I wanted to make sure that the user experience was very similar, but even areas where PancakeSwap falls short, we have it very simple then and there. So you'll be able to handle everything in an easy place. There's a lot of people that are used to going to one place to do the launch pre-sale and try to handle that. And then when liquidity is getting moved over, they try to real quick jump across to another website and then, watch the charts and all of that. We're putting it all in the same place. So essentially it's all on the same site. You can launch, you can try to get into pre-sale, or if you have a whitelist spot, whatever the case is, and then just tab over and you're right there at the exchange.
Oh, that's great.
It's very simple. We're going to be working with Ember here at the end of the month. It's going to be, unfortunately, right after we launch, but we're going to embed it as soon as it happens. But they handle onboarding and offboarding, which is essentially taking your fiat cash and turning it into tokens. And they're saying that they can do that in 2 clicks.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be a very easy way for people who want to get involved to get involved.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I love the fact that, again, different ideas, different projects coming together, solving real needs to make it a streamlined process for all involved. Now, with the private sales, the pre-sales coming up, launches following a day after. What are your feelings on heading into the pre-sale? Do you anticipate filling the pre-sale strictly from the whitelist?
Yes, for sure. We're hoping we take care of it in tier 1. Okay. But essentially we're going to have a tier 1. Those people will be able to go, and then tier 2. and then it'll be open to public. And we're pretty confident because we've been testing the temperature and see how things go. But a lot of people are very excited about us coming to market, and it's very humbling. And we're grateful for people to see the value that we're trying to bring, because we're working really hard on this, and we feel that it's going to fill very quickly in the pre-sale, and it's not a fair launch necessarily. So because of that, there will be buy pressure day one as well too.
Nice. Now I know that you have some specific marketing plans in place. You're using a marketing agency, and so I would imagine that there's some quality marketing going on leading to the pre-sale, and it will continue through the launch and beyond.
Exactly. There's I always tell people that we take a multi-prong marketing approach. And I hear others now echo that verbiage as well too when they do AMAs. But essentially one of those prongs is our professional marketing agency. They cast a wider reach than we do, than we ever could, and they reach across all of crypto. And because of that and their analytics, they have the ability to guide us in very potent ways of handling our marketing. So there's certain things we're doing, certain ways we're posturing ourselves, so that not only will this be a great thing before, leading into pre-sale, but then after launch. And then we have some really exciting things coming in August that I'm finalizing, where we could end up on TV even. So there's some real interesting things that are developing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Chris, brother, hey, thank you so much for taking some time out and sharing a few minutes of your time to share about the vision of the project and the background of your team. Man, I really enjoyed, learning a little bit more about you, but also hearing directly from you, why you guys are doing this. And it's encouraging, again, like I said, I keep saying it, but it's important that business owners, entrepreneurs with real world experience coming in and actually solving a problem in the crypto space is an awesome thing. I mean, there's a lot of shenanigans and nonsense out there and copycats. And I just hats off to you guys for being truly innovative and solving real problems. So again, hey, thank you for being here and sharing and being a part of the call today. And we're going to start transitioning into the discussion, the live community vetting. But again, thank you so much for being here, and I really look forward to watching the pre-sale and watching the launch.
All right, sounds great, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
So with that, we're now going to transition into the part of the conversation where we're going to be doing a live vetting. Okay, we're going to be doing a live vetting with some of our top scouts and vetters in our community. And we're going to be joined by PSC 100X. You know her as PSC 100X. Her name is Phyllis. We're going to be joined by Metal Ride. His name is Justin. We're going to be joined by Hellstrom. His name is Jesse. So, hey, thank you guys for being here. So I'll just go ahead and kick it off and throw it off to you, Phyllis. It was great being able to talk to Chris and hear about his background. You can tell that, he's had some experience in life, has had some successes in life. And as we talked about, it's just so important in this space. What do you think, Phyllis?
I totally agree with you there. And that's one of the things that highlighted, that kind of drew me, to the project itself. First of all, the transparency that I saw, because there's so much lack of that transparency and professionalism out there.
Right.
And there's so much, the lack of superior and great utilities as well. So when I saw that, it spoke to me.
Yeah.
That's exactly, kind of why I continue to drill into and looked into the project.
Right. Now, we see, Chris, and we see, Ross and Mason, we see their faces, their names, bios, and things like that. But, they've taken it a step further with Doxed and KYC, correct?
Yes, exactly right. And that's what Anox is, it's a really great, mean, I did some research on it, and they do background checks. They verify individuals on not just on a national scale, but on a global scale. And the technology that they use, pretty much they look at background, they look at credentials, they look at verification of them specifically, and also I'm really big on looking at I go to the LinkedIn site and I take a look at that, and those kind of things really stuck out to me. They also they KYC'd, and
right.
Sometimes that doesn't really mean a whole lot, but when it's being done by a great company, I think that there's a lot more value than just someone putting something out there like hey, I'm KYC'd by Pink Sale. So
yeah, exactly. There's a difference between those two, huh?
Oh my goodness, yeah, there sure is. I put no value personally, into some of them out there, but that was the main thing. I like the fact personally that they are having they have some some groundbreaking things that they're doing, especially with their Celis contract. I like the fact that they were moderators in other projects and how they kind of came together, and based on basically what stood out. I think Chris, he may have said this. I watched quite a few different AMAs. That what brought them together is they had the same mindset. They basically. What stood out for Chris, I believe, and I'm speaking for him, is their work ethic and their integrity. And so that was really important to me. I know that they're also they're registered and incorporated too, which I do look for.
Yeah, the difference between a project and a company.
Exactly. And that to me is extremely important. Being a business person myself and in my background. So I really like I like the backgrounds on all of them. I think they complement each other. So that was really a positive for me as well. So I'm pretty impressed with the background part. Absolutely.
Nice.
Really,
Now, was there? Oh yeah, go ahead, Jesse.
I really like their YouTube videos as well. They've got the one going through the white paper, and then they recently released another video talking about the pre-sale, how they're changing from BNB based to BUSD based to make it fair, because BNB has fluctuated so much.
Right.
So it's nice to see them take the time to put the videos together, put them out there. And they did say that they were going to put together some walkthrough videos on how to buy on their site for the pre-sales. So I like that. It's good.
No, that's a good point, Jesse.
I love that too, Jesse. And that was one of the things, for me is like, sometimes these white papers could be daunting and very daunting, especially when they're like 30 some pages and you wonder, is everything in there? Do I have to read through this whole thing? And having, Ross, I watched a video of him, kind of like walking out and going through the white paper. And that was really, that was a great resource for me. It saved me a lot of time. However, I still did, go through the white paper anyway, but it was a nice touch. And I noticed the video today that they just did, from, 7 days ago, about, switching from BNB to BUSD and the reasons behind it. So that made me look at the team as, they're trying to do the right thing, and they're telling you how they're doing it and why they did it. And so I think that was a great point, Jesse. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. Now, Justin, I know you're looking a little bit into, the marketing. Chris briefly touched on that, but what were some of the things that you had found about, the hype in marketing leading into the pre-sale and the launch?
Yeah, I did look into that a bit, and I noticed the socials were a little bit low, the numbers. The Telegram group, I'm going to say, is the English Telegram group. I'm going to say is probably one of the best run Telegram groups I've seen in a long, long time.
Definitely.
I'm really, really happy about that and seeing that. The answers I've had a few questions that have taken a little bit of time, but they have been answered, and they're actual answers. They're not just it'll be announced soon BS.
Right.
I'm pretty happy about that. I was a little bit concerned about the marketing leading up to the pre-sale and the launch, but knowing that there's a marketing team in place, I'm a little bit concerned about the buying pressure at launch. I think that with it being just on the website, I'm a little bit fearful in this market about doing that. I think that might be a bit of a tough road there, but with the marketing team coming in after the launch, and it sounds like quite a marketing team. I have actually looked at them already before, and I like them. This will be, in my opinion, a bit of a longer project. I don't think this is going to be a quick gain or a quick rip FT. Well, it may be a rip FT, but yeah, I think we're going to be holding this for a while. I know I'm certainly going to participate in this project. It checks every single box for me, other than that, the initial right up front marketing plan there. So I do believe that there will be a lot more selling pressure at launch than buying pressure. But I'm actually, part of my strategy in this project is to be in it long term, and so that doesn't concern me. Because of their marketing strategy, but yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on the marketing and how that goes.
The other thing too, I was looking at is, I love the fact that it's organic. How many times do we go into Telegram groups or anywhere and we see 10,000, and you see maybe 20 people online at that time, and it's mind-blowing that for me. So knowing that, looking at it, and I've been following closely the growth of Telegram. I've been following closely the communication that happens in there, and I agree with you wholeheartedly there, Justin, on being a really good. You could tell you guys have been moderators, Chris and Ross and Mason, because it looks like you've had them trained pretty well, and that's kind of one of the things that we really pride ourselves on. And I felt like there was a lot of connection between how you're running your community and how we at Vetter run our community as well. And we make sure that people get the answers that they deserve, not just go to the white paper or see the pin message and that kind of stuff. We frown on that in our community, so there was definitely some resemblance there, so kudos.
Yeah, no, that was one of the first things that I noticed. I guess the second thing I noticed, the first thing I noticed was the epic bios. Like I said, one day on the discussion call, someone brought the project up, and the epic bios sucked me in. And then I got sucked into Telegram, and I was like, this is a pretty cool vibe going on here. And again, it's always fun to see that type of thing going on. Jesse, I know you took some time to check out the tokenomics. What are some thoughts that you want to share about that?
I think basically they've set up their tokenomics in a way that is kind of almost encouraging holding long term.
Yeah,
like their buy and sell taxes are 20%, which is really high, but 7% of that is reflections in BUSD. And the other 5% is the unlock the vault. So it'll accumulate BUSD, and then they'll do like a unlock party. I think he said it's going to coincide with their burns.
Okay.
And they have 4% for buyback and burn. It's all based on trading volume, obviously. 2% for marketing, 1% for development, and 1% for liquidity. So pretty standard stuff. They do have vesting. Their private sale will be vested for 10 days. So at launch, they'll get 10%. And then 10% each day following. The pre-sale be for 20 days. So they get 10% at launch, and then every second day. So that's also going to encourage people to hold, obviously, because they won't have their full bag right at the start.
Right.
And then they've also have that diamond hand heist. I believe they set aside 100 trillion tokens for this, and it's for people who hold. So if you buy in the first 30 days and then hold for 60 days, there'll be an airdrop. And then they will do another one if you bought in the first 60 days and hold to 120 days, so another airdrop. So, and it's accumulated BUSD.
Okay.
So it's obviously encouraging people to hold, right?
Right.
And they did mention with the vesting, your rewards will be based on your total token count, not what's in your wallet. So even though it's vested and it's not technically in your wallet, your rewards for the 7% BUSD reflection daily will be on the maximum amount, which is good. I really like that. And
yeah,
then
so even though it's not in your wallet, but it's still counting towards your total bag.
Yes, for
that's
the
awesome.
Reflections. Yeah.
No, that's
so
cool.
That's pretty cool. A lot of the other companies don't do that, right? You just get reflections on what's in your wallet.
Right.
So another thing is that I really like is they are partnering with BrewLabs for their staking. So that could potentially bring a lot of eyes onto the project because there's a lot of people involved with BrewLabs.
Right.
Right. So 100% of the pre-sale funds are going to go into liquidity and development, and the pre-sale is going to be in BUSD. So if you are lucky enough to get a white list or it goes public, you will need BUSD in your wallet. The max buy will be 1,750 BUSD, and the min buy is 150 BUSD.
Okay.
So, and then the 20% tax, they said that they're going to be able to reduce that. So as their other branches of utility become profitable, kind of the same way as Vetter or a VPAD will do, right? They said they can lower the tax. So I like that too.
No, that's great. No, thank you for diving into that. Does anybody else have any thoughts? Jesse, Justin, Phyllis, do you guys have any other thoughts or closing comments before we wrap it up?
Basically, I just wanted to reiterate too that I'm really big into utilities. As everybody pretty much knows, I pretty much research mostly utilities, and I love the fact that they're encouraging holding, and just kind of similar to what we did as well. And I just think that the tokenomics pretty much is wrapped around people wanting to pretty much hold on to their bag, which I think is going to be good in the long run. So and I got to just touch on the sell less contract because that's always crazy for me because when you're watching the charts and how the charts are actually operating, and that that red candle is not really a red candle. It's them paying their BUSD or paying whatever token it is. But unfortunately, with the way that happens is pretty much it deflates the token price, and it kind of stinks, and people don't realize that. And so what they do is they all they see is a red candle, and all they're looking at is that, and then they turn around and they start to get nervous, they start to sell off, and then it breeds more sell off, but yet it's not really what's happening, and it happens a lot throughout their the time as well. I mean, if they have to, need to do something with marketing or whatever, and you see a sell off, but they're not doing that. I love the fact that's really intriguing to me, especially as an investor, because sometimes I want to yell at the screen and say, "What are you doing? Don't do that. You don't understand. You don't understand what's happening."
Right.
So that's some great stuff there too. So
no, that's good.
Sure.
It's taking those dominoes away. You click that first domino, and then it just has that ripple effect, and just everything starts flowing, and people start selling because they're panicked and they're out of their mind, and so just taking those dominoes out so that doesn't happen. I mean, that's a big deal,
right? Because those benefits can be damaging. Benefits of the rewards can be damaging. And you don't even know it. So go ahead, Jesse. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, just one other thing following up with that is that the team wallet, which is the 5% of the max tokens, is locked for 2 years. So they will be operating off of revenue from the pre-sale, private sale, and taxes. So there won't be a big team sale or team wallet dump that we've seen in other projects. So 2 years, that's a pretty significant time frame for a crypto project.
Yeah, you say that and it's like, wow, that is really significant. But then you think about, what Chris had shared in the background and like how these guys are, it's a company with a vision. And so at first when you said 2 years, I was like, wow, that's a long time. But again, when you think about what they're doing, that's like right in alignment with, that how they've been treating the project all along. This is a long-term play with a grand vision. And they want to make sure that everything is done the right way. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, awesome.
I noticed that Chris had mentioned they're implementing a utility with, and I can't remember the name, but where you could take fiat and buy crypto with 2 clicks. I was curious to know if that same utility would work the other way, where we can take the tokens and sell it for fiat. As well in there. I think that'd be a real bonus in this space too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. That'd be a great question to circle back up with Chris on. So having said that, Justin, you make a good point. If you're watching this right now and you wrote down your questions, like I suggested earlier, we invite you to go visit, Vault Finance's Telegram group and continue the conversation there with Chris and the team and the community there and get your questions answered. I hope that, we were able to, have this conversation. And the whole point of this was, again, to share what we liked about the project, to share some potential, not necessarily red flags or, deal breakers, but hey, this is something I'm kind of unsure about. This is something I'm kind of unsure about or unknown or worried about, but I really like this and I really like that. And that's the whole point. The whole point of a live vetting, community vetting like this is to share our thoughts and insights and have a collaborative conversation about the project. So again, Chris, thank you so much for taking some time out to be with us today, sharing your project. And thank you, Jesse, Phyllis, and Justin for sharing your insights. And if you're watching live or you're watching the replay, I hope that the questions we brought up was supportive for you in when you're doing your research in the projects, what questions to ask, and hopefully it even was a catalyst. Some questions came to your mind as well that you want to ask Vault Finance and ask Chris there. So with that, again, thank you for being a part of the live community vetting, and we will see you next time.